What's going on, the Long Dark community, and welcome back. This video is dedicated to showing you what, in my opinion, is the best long-term base in the Long Dark. Now, first, let's define what makes a base a great long-term base. I think you can put it this way: if you can survive in that place for hundreds of days without having to go out of your way or perhaps even leave the region to get stuff that you need, or having to put yourself in danger doing so. And as of Safehouse Customization and Wildlife update, some criteria definitely has changed. Most of it has changed. Some have been thrown over completely. For example, the need for a working bench to having to be available in the place already before you get there. This is no longer a criteria, perhaps a very minor one. Or the unreliability of wildlife spawns. Now, you can almost not count it as a criteria anymore for what makes a good base. Now, considering all these changes, I have put together a list of the primary criteria that I believe make a base an amazing base in the game. And the first one is a fishing hut. Fishing is essential for vitamin C and preventing scurvy, and a fishing hut prevents wildlife from interrupting your fishing sessions and provides some shelter. The next criteria is a fireplace. An indoor fireplace is great. You don't want to have to start every fire outdoors, for example, like misanthropes. It could be a good base, but it doesn't have a fireplace, and you have to always rely on good weather or go to a fishing hut and use a potbelly stove that only has one cooking slot. Beachcombing. Beachcombing is great. It's overpowered. You can find, you get cloth, leather, quality tools, maple, wood, fish. It's awesome. It's great. You get cloths, even though you don't need clothes in the late game. Beachcombing is OP. It's just insane. The next criteria is a place to cure cabin fever. So it could be an empty bear cave or somewhere else where you could start a fire, but a cave is optimal because you get enough temperature bonus in order to not freeze without a fire. And the last criteria, this is actually also very important, is salt. And this criteria is very, well, diminishing for who makes it in the race for the best base, because, well, that essentially only leaves the coastal regions. There is secondary criteria that I think makes a very, very good base. They're not a must-have, but they are quality of life. And also, not just that. We have safety. Can you leave the base without having to deal with the risk of being ambushed by wolves or a bear that just wait outside your door? The availability of coal and firewood nearby. The wildlife, which, again, it's unreliable, but it still remains a secondary criteria because some wildlife spawns are still set. They will always appear after some time. The connectivity of the region, that's it for the secondary criteria. And then I have some miscellaneous, something like space, then having a climbing rope nearby, so you can easily, if you just spend your days inside or doing nothing, passing time, whatever, crafting something, and in the evening you're not tired, then you can just go on the rope and climb a little bit down and up again, and then you will be tired and you can sleep. So having a rope nearby is also a nice quality of life thing. Having a 6-hub stove nearby or even in your base is also really great because they are the most fuel efficient ones. The weather of the region can also play a big role. And then last but not least, it's ptarmigans, because ptarmigans, if you don't have them in your region, you might have to go somewhere else to repair your installations and maybe your down improvised bedroll. So, but that's just a minor thing. You don't really need that. Now, with a focus on the primary criteria, there is only one base in the game as of now that meets all of them. And it's the cabin at the Cannery Worker Residence location in Bleak Inlet. Let's jump into the game and I'll show you around. Alright, so here we are. Let's go over the list real quick. This place has a fishing hut, as you can see. That's kind of obvious. It has a fireplace, as you can see, with the chimney. It has a beachcombing spot right outside your door, which is kind of nice. And you have like 3 more beachcombing spots along the coastline. This way, you have a cave to cure cabin fever. Most of the time, it's empty. I have been in Bleak Inlet for over 100 days, not consecutive, and the bear has never spawned since the wildlife update. The cave also has salt, so we tick all the boxes for the primary criteria. Now let's get to some secondary criteria. Safety. This place is really safe to leave, to get out of, to get into. You can smell to high heavens when coming from that fishing hut and carrying the fish to the cabin, there's no way that the timber wolves that are out on the ice back there ever reach you. Since there's no normal wolves around, you never have the risk of being ambushed. Then, well, firewood, that's kind of an awkward situation. Sometimes you get firewood spawning back there. That spawns some fur firewood sometimes. And if not, you'd have to go a little further for firewood. You get a lot of sticks, but you don't get a lot of firewood, so you have to I do like trips where I plan like a whole day to go this way and then collect some firewood over there and then bring it back. In terms of wildlife, there's a deer that spawns on this pond, but well, you don't really need lots of wildlife around you. Fishing is OP. You have some timber wolves on the ice out there, and you have a bear back there at Frozen Delta, so wildlife, it's not bad. It's not bad. And the connectivity of the region, I really like how Bleak Inlet connects. You are very close to the Fallen Muskeg Forge. You just have to cross the Frozen Delta. Also, it's just a short trip to the camp office once you go through Fallen Muskeg, or like Trappers, like Mystery Lake in general. I think the connectivity is better than people would think of Bleak Inlet. Then we have the miscellaneous criteria. Space. Well, this cabin is small, right? This cabin's really small. So people that want a large base, like hunting lodge or something, well, might not be for you. And this video is not about telling you what to do or telling you that you play the game wrong when you don't choose this as a base. No, it's completely up to you. It's a little cramped in here, using the suitcases as storage and whatnot. So here's the fireplace. This is my self-made workbench. And there's one more thing that is really, really nice. And that is that Bleak Inlet has the single most efficient stove in the whole game, which is the one in the Fallen Lighthouse. It's a 6-up stove, and due to the fire mechanics in the game, the fire duration gets up to doubled when it's cold. So, essentially, this means you get double the efficiency on a 6-up stove, which is insane. I make my water there, and I barely use much fuel. So that's really nice. And then a few more things. The weather in Bleak Inlet, well, we have snow now, but most of the time it's windy, but the sun is out, so you can most of the time use your mag lens. Also, you get a lot of auroras because it's Bleak Inlet, and it's one of the regions where aurora actually gives you entrance to something, like the workshop, the other region being Blackrock, and that's why you get a lot of auroras. That means you can craft a lot at night and or repair stuff. That's really great. And each blizzard is a blessing because you get some new stuff from beachcombing. So how can you not love it? This place here, right where I'm standing, spawns coal in the frequency that caves spawn coal. It's always 5, and they always appear here. And yeah, they're not here now because I collected them, but isn't that crazy? You even have coal here. Last but not least, the ptarmigans on the list. You can go to Fallen Muskeg and go to the little overlook and grab the ptarmigans from there. It's just a short trip if you really need the installations right. So, to wrap up, this base has the potential for you to live here like hundreds of days and you never have to leave. You won't ever get scurvy. You can get salt for the meat train box. There's 2 more salt deposits below the cannery, and you don't have to deal with timber wolves if you just sneak a little bit. So that's great. And then the salt deposit in the cave back there. And there's another one in the cave at Frozen Deltas. Sadly, the cougar is kind of in the way, so I wouldn't recommend going there for that. You can do it though. What we really mean is that they put the cougar right next to the tails bunker, which kind of, I don't know. Well, but okay. So, yeah, you can actually stay here forever. So, since it's getting dark, it's time to wrap up this video. And I hope you enjoyed. And I will see you guys next time, and thank you for watching.